I think we laid the groundwork for future success here. I honestly feel that we hung on to guys that have great character. I'm excited about the players that I had the chance to work with.
In 1988, the Green Bay Packers sowed the seeds of contention. Seeds that weathered the season-long odyssey of a team in transition. The growing pains that came with a new system were compounded by the physical pains of injuries to several key starters. But in the face of such adversity stood one of the best defenses in the NFC. Emerged the promise of potential new game breakers on offense. And showcased one player on the brink of stardom.
He gets a little high snap from center. They come after it.
He blocked by Tim Harris. He's going to score. And he's going to score.
We went into this thing last year as a family. We talked about whether we were winners or whatever, that we would come out of it as a family, and that was the goal, was to stay together and work together. And working together, we're going to end up doing what we want to get done here.
For some teams, the race to the NFL playoffs is a sprint. For others, a marathon. But for Lindy Infante and his Packers, the term obstacle course fit best, as a combination of early season injuries and self-inflicted wounds left the Packers reaching for the elusive first victory. If the true test of family is measured during times of adversity, then Infante's clan faced a telling challenge in 2 early games against Tampa Bay. In the first, the Packers built a 10-0 lead. But a penalty erased a fourth quarter field goal that proved to be the difference in a last-second 13-10 defeat.
Here's Randy Wright, back to throw again. Looking, comes towards the end zone.
Eddie West, touchdown. Oh, Max, what a quick comeback for the Packers. A couple of passes, and wow.
2 weeks later, Green Bay amassed 426 offensive yards, only to be victimized again by another last-second field goal.
Kick is on the way.
Oh, it looks good.
Enough. It is good. He made it.
Well, what can you say? He drilled it right through the heart, and the Packers again are going to have, looks like, another bitter defeat.
When you can start off with all the expectations and all the high hopes we had because it was a new regime, and then to have them dashed as quickly as we had them dashed, where we lose 5 straight, I think a lesser team with lesser character might have just said, well, this season's pretty much over. But this team didn't do that.
Hardly. Infante's Packers had some proving to do, to themselves and to the rest of the NFL. On week 6, they were prepared for anybody, and the New England Patriots just happened to be in their way.
Here is McCaskey on a bootleg to the right, wants to run, and is running, touchdown, Green Bay.
Making his first start of the season, quarterback Don Majkowski lit the fuse that led the Packers' biggest offensive explosion in 5 years. For the second week in a row, Green Bay rolled up 400 yards of total offense, over half by way of a resurgent ground attack.
Oh, here's the handoff to Kenneth Davis. Slides through hole. He got a touchdown. And the Packers score again. The Packers are blowing them away.
The Packer defense also came into its own. It held New England to just a field goal for the entire game, did not allow the Patriots to penetrate the Green Bay 20-yard line, and intercepted 5 passes, 2 by defensive back Ron Pitts, number 28. The 5 interceptions were the most for one game in 7 years. Team superlatives notwithstanding, perhaps the biggest story of the game was the performance of running back Brent Fullwood.
On a draw play, gives it off to Fullwood. He veers to the outside, 25-20. Goodbye, 15-10, 5, touchdown. There's 100 yards. Here's McCaskey on the handoff to Brent Fullwood. Touchdown, Green Bay.
In his finest day as a pro, Fullwood ran for 118 yards and 3 touchdowns. Running roughshod over New England's beleaguered defenders, Fullwood was the major catalyst in the Packers' 45-3 demolition of the Patriots, Green Bay's largest margin of victory in 20 years. Brent Fullwood's value to the Green Bay Packers is exceeded only by the exciting potential he has displayed since arriving 2 years ago. Despite being hampered by nagging injuries throughout 1988, Fullwood still managed to lead the team in scoring, rushing, and kickoff returns.
Well, Brent's an excellent football player when he's got his hands on the ball. What we have to do now is to get a little bit more out of Brent in all the other areas, but he's a talented runner. When he gets his hands on the football, he's a potential to go all the way with it on any down.
Brent's going to be an explosive back for us this year. I think this year he's really going to show what he's made of. And he was a player that it took a little bit more time to learn and understand the system. Going into this year, it'll be much more easy for him, as it will for all of us.
Brent Fullwood's second year should provide the momentum for him to reach his full potential in 1989. Momentum like that which the Packers carried into the following week's game against division rival Minnesota. Though the Vikings had forced teams to deal with their #1 ranked defense, this time it was the Packers who set the agenda.
Wilson back in the pocket looking at some pressure on him. Safety! Thrown in the end zone by Timmy Harris. And the Packers get 2, Max.
Tim Harris led the defensive charge with a pair of sacks, while on offense the Packers set the tone on their very first play of the game. Walter Stanley had over 100 yards in receptions against a premier Viking secondary to help open up an improving running game. Running backs Keith Woodside and Brent Fullwood each contributed a touchdown as the Packers offense rolled up 27 points on a celebrated Viking defense. But it remained once again for Tim Harris to put an explosive climax to a memorable afternoon. Harris and the Packers had rewarded their green and gold faithful with the scintillating 34-14 triumph and rewarded their head coach with a ceremonious victory shower. But it would hardly dampen his spirit. His team had lifted itself out of the morass of an 0-5 start and was now playing some of the best football in the National Football League. The unbearable lightness of being, pro football style. It comes from back-to-back wins over playoff caliber teams by a combined score of 79-17. But when the world champion Washington Redskins invaded County Stadium, the Packers were out to prove they could play with the best the NFL had to offer.
Some people comes up over the middle, Woodside at the 40, the 35, on his feet to the 30, the 25, the 20. He's gonna go. 15, the 10, the 5, and a touchdown for the Green Bay Packers. Holy cow, what a play by Woodside.
Back goes Mikowski to throw on second down. Looking and in trouble. Now gets away. Rolls to the right, fires on the run. Touchdown.
Though the Packers rallied from behind to take a 17-10 lead, they eventually fell 20-17. A bitter setback that would seem to have long-term effects.
That definitely, I think, was a turning point. We played them tough, and if we could have came out on top of that game, it might have been a different season.
I honestly felt at the time that we came out of that particular ball game not feeling all that bad about ourselves. We had won 2 in a row. We had played the world champion toe-to-toe. We went to Buffalo the next week, and that may have had a bigger impact on our football team than the Washington game. We went in there and did not play very good offensively. We got shut out, and I think that one might have set the tone for 2 or 3 games to follow.
Once again, Infante's Packers were treading through their own private obstacle course. Only this time, the biggest obstacle was themselves.
Our major problem, I don't think, was grasping the offense as it was fumbling the ball, not making the catches, making critical mistakes at key times.
We were beating ourselves. It was incredibly a misfortune. The turnovers were just coming at an incredible rate, which we really weren't doing up to that point.
As a result, the Packers fell into a midseason slump that saw them drop 7 games in a row. But while Lindy Infante searched for ways to exorcise the self-destruct demons that possessed his offense, he retained a measure of comfort knowing that his defense provided the stabilizing force of his still developing team. A defense that ranked near the top of the NFC. A defense that may have lacked flash, but more than made up for it with punch. The teams that tried to throw against Green Bay soon realized the folly of their ways. In 1988, the Packers were one of the toughest defenses to pass on. Their average yield per pass attempt was the second lowest in the league, and they were the only defense that prevented an opposing receiver from having a 100-yard day. An opportunistic group as well. Only 3 teams finished with more takeaways.
We have extremely intelligent guys here. Probably, like I tell them, that I've never worked with a better, harder working group of guys. Not the most talented, but it's a team that works, studies hard on and off the field. They're all just fine people that I'm working with.
Depth of personnel proved key to their success. On the defensive line, injuries allowed a trio of promising first-year players to step forward. Bob Nelson and number 68 Blaze Winter anchored the nose tackle position, while rookie defensive end Sean Patterson, number 96, made a huge impact and impression.
Sean Patterson came in as a draft choice and got thrust into a position where he had to start and play an awful lot. I thought he did a truly fantastic job for a young guy coming in. All of his football's in front of him. I think he's going to get better and better as his pro career goes on.
While Patterson, Winter, and Nelson were prime examples of exuberant youth on defense, veteran leadership was equally in abundance, particularly in the secondary. Dave Brown brought 14 years of experience to the cornerback slot and played as if he could go on for 14 more. His 3 interceptions swelled his career total to 56, 10th on the NFL's all-time list. Veteran leadership is also an attribute of cornerback Mark Lee, whose 11 passes defense last year further entrenched him as one of the premier corners in Packer history. Joining Brown and Lee in this solid secondary were Ken Stills, Tiger Green, Ron Pitts, and rookie standout Chuck Cecil, number 26, who finished second on the team in interceptions. But the ringleader of this backfield gang was a guy called Murph. Strong safety Mark Murphy, number 37, is an avid collector of hats and wayward footballs. Leading the team in both tackles and takeaways, Murphy is coming off his finest season with the Packers. His value to the team is evidenced by Infante's desire to clone him.
Mark is one of those guys you'd like to have 47 Mark Murphys, and you go out there and line up and you can play with anybody. Maybe not the most gifted of all the safeties in the league, but I doubt seriously they're any more professional about what he does. He is a leader. When you put Mark Murphy on the field, you don't worry about that position.
While safety was but one position the Packers didn't have to worry about, opposing offenses were plagued with concern over impending battles with Packer linebackers. At inside linebacker, Brian Noble, number 91, parlayed a fiery disposition with a hunter's mentality to notch another productive season. At right inside linebacker stands Johnny Holland, number 50. Last year's Packer Rookie of the Year continued to develop into a major force on defense, finishing 3rd in tackles. On the outside, 11-year veteran John Anderson continued to be a productive model of dedication and consistency, hallmarks that place him among the Packer all-time linebacking elite. It is a very select few that one day will include another special player. He is privately regarded by some as the best outside linebacker in the NFC, if not the entire NFL. He can single-handedly abort an offensive game plan. He's a 6'5" tower of power. And yet after 3 years, Tim Harris remains pro football's biggest secret.
Timmy Harris just loves to play the game of football. He practices hard, he plays hard, he's a very intense competitor. He's one of those guys that has a unique ability to be big enough to play as a down lineman in pass rush with his hand on the ground, and at the same time be agile enough to be able to play up and play a linebacker position. He's a very valuable, very integral part of what we're doing on our defensive side of the ball.
Versatility and awesome athletic ability allowed Harris to record a team-leading 13.5 sacks.
I feel that each team has to prepare for me, each position on the line really, because I can line up a nose guard and rush, or I can line at defensive end and rush, or outside linebacker and rush. So I move around a lot, and it gives me a free rush most of the time.
If player recognition is directly tied to team success, then the name Tim Harris will undoubtedly soon become synonymous with superstar. The Infante offense. Its success requires an effective choreography of multiple options, split-second timing, and razor-sharp execution, blending together at the same time. But this is theory. In reality, success is not found on a play sheet. It is found in the players who are to execute the plays. And for these men, 1988 was a year of learning and adaptation. 1989 should be a year of results.
I look for us to have now gone through the embryo stages that you have to go through when you install a new offensive concept. Now that we know a little bit more about our players, we can certainly adapt the system to fit some of the players too.
It all begins at the offensive line, where newly acquired Billy Ard will join Keith Euchre, Ron Hallstrom, Rich Moran, Mark Cannon, Dave Croston, and Ken Rutgers. They will pave the way for an improved running game that includes versatile Keith Woodside, Paul Ott-Carruth, and number 34, Larry Mason. Off-season addition Michael Haddix makes this a healthier position. Hopefully, the same will be said about the all-important receiving corps. Injuries decimated this phase of the offense, as both Philip Epps and Walter Stanley were lost for better than half the season. Their return in 1989 will add luster to a receiving corps that includes number 81, Perry Kemp, a solid fill-in who finished second on the team in receptions. Tight end Ed West, Aubrey Matthews, and number 83, Patrick Scott. All made significant contributions, but none shined as bright as Sterling. Rookie Sterling Sharp, number 84, had a silver-plated debut season. Thrust into a starting role, the Packers' top draft pick responded with a team-leading 55 catches, the most ever by a Packer rookie. His ability to stretch defenses and make the clutch reception gives Sharp unlimited potential.
I think 1988 was just the tip of the iceberg as far as Sterling is concerned. I think that as he really understands more and more about professional football and what it takes to be a true Pro Bowler type player, I think he possesses that type of ability.
With the addition of Sterling Sharp to Green Bay's big play arsenal, the spread it around philosophy of Infante's offense takes on exciting possibilities. To carry this offense to greater heights, the Packers have discovered that two arms are better than one. Quarterback Randy Wright displayed solid leadership before injuries ruined a potentially productive season. It is expected he will once again compete with the Magic Man for the starting job. Fan favorite Don Majkowski has the confidence and the rare athletic skill to make him one of the NFL's up-and-coming young signal callers.
Experience is going to make a great deal of difference, and getting the opportunity to play the last couple of years is definitely going to set the tone for this year, because I feel very confident in my ability, and I think only the best is yet to come.
Indeed it is. On week 15, the Vikings descended on Lambeau Field. Minnesota had outscored its previous four opponents 123-9. The Packers weren't impressed. They rode the Vikings into the ground by being kryptonite to a supercharged Minnesota offense. Tim Harris's second safety of the year tied a league record. On offense, they gladly took what the Vikings gave them.
Pass goes Mikowski. Swings it out to him. He caught it at the 5. Touchdown, Patrick.
The Packers' 18-6 win was their fourth straight against the divisional rival Vikings. The Pack was back, and a cold shower never felt so good. The following week, the Packers traveled to Phoenix for the season finale against the Cardinals. But in a larger sense, it was the first game of a new season. A building block that would demonstrate a gelling of players, system, and character. The dynamics of a winner.
And the ball is to Ronnie Pitts at the 38, to the 40, to the 45. Looks for a little hole to midfield. To the 45, to the 40. Going back to the go. At the 35, the 30, the 25, the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5, and a touchdown for Ronnie Pitts. Here's the handoff, faked by McCaskey, wide open, touchdown Didier. Back to pass, looking, McCaskey running, McCaskey at the 10, wide open. Sidelines, touchdown to Mason.
On a day when offense, defense, and special teams excelled, a 26-17 triumph resulted, and a football team took a major step forward. A bright and promising future for a very proud and gloried organization appears to be on the horizon. The Green Bay Packers are a team that is coming together.
I think the foundation is there. There's a nucleus and a guts of good, solid players here. If we can hang on to that character that I think we developed last year, then I think we can go a long way with it.
This video is part of a complete blockbuster lineup of NFL films capturing pro football's greatest plays and biggest heroes with crunches, follies, highlights, and Super Bowl hits, plus new releases each season. We've got action-packed videos of every superstar team in the NFL. Call 1-800-NFL-TAPE now for a free catalog and order your NFL hit today. Or look for NFL films at your nearby video store. The season's never over with NFL Films and Fox Hills Video.